has some beefs against Steinbrenner, I'm sure.
No doubt there is 1 or 2% of black people in America who have a better life.
Oh, stop. That's what you think? 1 or 2%?
Okay, let's say 10%.
Yeah, that's one. He said 1 or 2% of black people have it better. 1 or 2%. He has to be extremely disconnected from reality. All right, hi everybody. Welcome back to our channel. So, what's his name? John Cougar, Mellencamp. Y'all, he was on Bill Maher. Bill Maher has a podcast. I didn't even know that.
Oh, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't know he had a podcast. But Bill Maher has a podcast. The podcast is called Random something. Hold on.
Random Room or something like that.
Yeah, Random
Club
Random. It's his podcast. But anyways, so John Cougar Mellencamp was on there, and he said some very interesting things, and so I have a little clip of that, and so we're going to listen to what he has to say. I'm sorry, so I'm going to set this up for you guys up real quick. He is talking to him right about when he used to be on the road, and he would see racist things happening. So he's referring to what's happened back when he was on the road, and that's just the setup of what he's talking about right now. Just to let you know.
More than learning how to sing or to dance or anything like that, I learned about hatred.
Okay, so let's go to 2023.
Is that now?
That's now.
Okay.
Like, I'm not being naive when I say that would not happen in 2023.
Your ass, it would.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Tell me why.
Why do I think that?
Yeah.
Seen
that?
Yeah. I have.
In 2023.
Yeah, and you have too.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you turn the news on, you'll see it.
See what?
Racist comments, racist.
Yeah. There's no doubt there are still racists in America.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're talking about in a city in the music industry, and I'm guessing a fairly young crowd or a music-loving crowd. They just don't strike me as people who in 2023 say those kind of things or even feel that way. But just give me an example, and then I'll get off this. But I'm just curious of a recent example in the last couple of years, specifically of a incident of racism that you saw, like on tour or something, that is in this.
I have a 29-year-old son. One of his best friends was black. Right? They went somewhere in Los Angeles. The guy got in an argument with this little skinny black kid. Waited for him to walk outside of the bar and ran him over and killed him. How much more of a example do you want?
I mean, yeah. I'm not denying that things like that happen in this country.
But yes, I'm just saying it's not any better.
Was that because he's black?
They had an argument.
They had an argument. It's always these anecdotal. Listen, that's tragic, by the way. But there's always these anecdotal things that people talk about, and it's like we're talking about rampant racism happening, but he didn't mention the racism part.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He keeps.
I think he's trying to think of her. He's trying to make it racism. And then
that's another thing. It's just because some people from the opposite race have a fight or something or even kill someone. It doesn't necessarily mean it's about race.
It's racially motivated.
It's just because they're black and white that we all of a sudden think it's about race.
Isn't it?
You know what I mean? It's just like we don't think we think if we fight each other, then that's just normal.
Yeah.
But if a black person or a white person get in a fight, it's racial. It's like, no, you know that there can be other reasons why people get mad at people.
It's interesting how he thinks that way, though.
Because he might be racist.
Yeah. To just pick a random situation that he wasn't even there, I don't think, because he said his son witnessed all this.
Well, I mean,
and I'm like, yeah, but why are you making that racial? That's not a racist. I mean, like, we don't know that was a racist situation. Were they hurling out racist remarks? He's not saying it.
And which, by the way, it really just showed because both John Cougar Mellencamp and Bill Maher are boomers.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I mean? And that generation does not want to give up.
Yeah, they don't want
to. It shows, but what he's saying is that what it sounds like. What I'm hearing is the kids of today are trying to move past it, and the people of that generation just don't want to.
Yes,
you know what I mean. And if you're over 45, those people in that demographic, you know what I mean. They are attached to race,
right?
And then these younger generations, these millennials and these Zoomers, they've kind of moved on a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though they're willing to go to BLM riots, you see more white kids than you do black kids.
They don't really think
mean?
about racism like that. But they'll just go to for a movement is a movement.
Right.
So they'll go to the movements. But it's interesting that he's bringing that up. I don't feel like that was a racist. There was nothing about that. Just a simple fact that there was a black person involved and a white person involved, that automatically makes it racist. And maybe it was. I don't know, but I'm just saying it's weird.
But also, I think it's just like, I mean, look, I'm not going to say this for about all liberals, but I do think that liberals sometimes are just so racist because they bring up race so much. Yeah. Like, they just don't let it go. It's like everything is based on your skin color. It just always is. I don't care if you're white or liberal or black liberal. It is always about your race. Always. It can't be just you had a difference of opinion. It can't be that this person was just nuts. Right. You know what I mean? It can't be that, you know what I mean, people are unfair.
No, it has to be.
It has to be because you're black and you're white. That's just, and like he was saying, I hate that you guys are selling out and moving on?
What do you mean?
Is that what you're saying? Because the kids are moving on and you guys are still stuck in the civil rights era?
I mean, yeah. I'm not denying that things like that happen in this country.
Well, but I'm just saying it's not any better. I mean, you may.
Well, that's what we're arguing about. I think
we're not arguing about anything. We're having a discussion.
Well, we're disagreeing.
No.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay to disagree.
You say it in one of your songs.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Right.
I wrote a song that I never recorded because I felt it was wrong, but it was called From the Fucking Cotton Fields to the Plague Fields.
Yeah.
So my point is that, so what?
I would say that
us white people love to have black people entertain us.
I would say that the playing fields are a lot better than the cotton fields. That's what I would say about that. Maybe I'm crazy, John, but it seems like making no money as a slave picking cotton was not as good as playing left field for the Yankees. I mean, I'm sure there were reasons why. Dave Winfield has some beefs against Steinbrenner. I'm sure.
No doubt, there is 1 or 2% of black people in America who have a better life.
Oh, stop. That's what you think?
Okay,
1 or 2%?
yeah, that's...
He said 1 or 2% of black people have it better. 1 or 2%.
No, I have to say that John Cougar Mellencamp is from Ourstown.
Yes.
He's from Indianapolis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, Indianapolis is the home of the Klan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I do think that he has some race hang-ups.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that there's something within him that sees black people as different than him. He's talking about white people love to see black people entertain them. You're an entertainer. You're white. What are you talking about?
You're entertaining.
Most of the people you're entertaining are white. Most people who like John Cougar Mellencamp are white people. You don't see a lot of black people listening to, I was born in a small town. You know what I mean? Like, I do.
Yeah.
But... I do, but most his audience is mostly white people.
He has to be extremely disconnected from reality.
Well, he is,
and I say that only because he said 1 or 2. He said 1 or 2% of black people have it better in life, are doing better. That means that 98% of black people are not doing well. So, anyways, so I looked up a couple of stats here, okay? Because I heard that he said this, and 47 Pew study, 47% of blacks and Asians have reached the middle class, right? 49% of Hispanics have reached the middle class. 52% of whites have reached the middle class, are in the middle class, right? Where he got 2% of black people have maybe gotten somewhere. How can you say that when we see?
Because I think he's very wealthy.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times he's not around regular people.
Yeah.
A lot.
Right.
And because he's wealthy though, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think he watches the news.
Yeah.
And then he gets indoctrinated by things because he's not around real people.
Yeah.
1 or 2% of black people in America who have a better life.
Oh, stop. That's what you think? 1 or 2%?
Okay, let's say 10%.
No,
I'm just pulling a number out of my ass.
It is that. That's where it belongs.
Hey, I just pulled a number out of my ass.
I know, but I'm telling you, that's just not true. But,
Well, okay, well.
I mean,
listen.
We do have statistics.
Talk to my son. He'll tell you.
Well, he saw one very horrific incident.
Yes.
Maybe that
Yes.
has colored his
Well,
thinking.
why do you think that's the only incident that happens?
Of course not. And
So Danielle, we read a lot of you guys' comments,
Yeah.
and we'll get people in the comments that give us an example of something, but they don't understand that your little town
Yeah.
or your little space is not the country.
Yeah.
So they give you some kind of
Like anecdotal,
situation that
Yeah.
happened to them, and then they take that and they think that just happens to everybody all around the world, every
No.
demographic. No, that happened to your son,
Yeah.
and we don't even know why he did that.
Yeah. It's like it's interesting how people do that though. They'll take just one incident and then make that
Blanket it.
is the statistic.
Right.
That one incident is what is going on all over. It's like you can't just say that in your specific city this is happening and then that just be the new data. That's not how it works.
Right.
You know, every life gone is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
One life gone or whatever is terrible, right? You know, if it was tragic or whatever, you know, if it was accidental or if it was murder or something like that, it's all bad. But we do have to look at the rate of statistics here.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just say, you know, Johnny got killed, you know, last week. You know, Johnny's black, so that means that it's a racist attack.
Even like with with the Alabama thing, the riverboat thing.
Yeah.
It's like black people everywhere were saying, "Oh, this is I told y'all this was happening. This is one. You're not going to take this one situation
yeah.
that no one has had on tape ever,
Yeah.
and then make this why all white people are racist." You know what I mean? You're not going to do that. That is that. I'm not even going to. We don't even know if that was about race. You know what I mean? We still don't. It's just all there has to be is a black person and a white person involved, and then it's about race. It cannot be about a disagreement. It can't be about two ignorant people that walk away. It can't be about anything. It has to be about that, or that's what it is.
And again, I don't think that in my opinion, most black people have not been in an actual racist situation.
Right.
They just have. I'm 46 years old, and when I was in my 20s, I had a actual kind of, I had a racist situation happen to me. Okay, so listen, 46, and I think I was like 21. Okay, now from the time that happened all the way to my age here, nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing's happened. Okay. Now, what happened? I worked at a clothing store. I was a manager at a clothing store, and I was ringing people up. Okay, and I was a manager, so I had the employees through a rotation. So I was next. I kept myself in the rotation. So it was my turn to ring up on the register. So I'm ringing somebody up. The next lady in line was a white woman. She didn't want me to ring her up, okay? But she didn't want to say why she didn't. She said she preferred the other girl to ring her up. The person that she pointed to was my associate, who was actually a white girl. You know, she was a young white girl. And so I was like, well, no. The girl started to walk up and go, oh, Danielle, I'll get it. I said, no. I want to know why she doesn't want, I said, no, why, what's the problem here? And so she leans in, and this has never happened to me before. Okay, this has never happened to me before. And she says, I don't want a N-word ringing me up. Now, she said it quietly, but not quiet enough for the people behind her to hear. Right? And behind her there was two white ladies and a black lady. They heard her, and I was already like, I have never been in a racist situation, so that was very shocking to me. I didn't really know what to do. But I did know I wanted to tell her to leave. So I was able to do that, but before I can even say anything, the white ladies were also telling her to leave. So it wasn't and the black lady too. They're also and eventually we had to get security and get her out of there, right? But my point in telling this story, right, is that happened when I was 21 years old. I am 46 years old. I have not had any racist situation. So the idea that we're walking around on a daily basis and black people are just getting, hunted down by white people and everything's Jim Crow all of a sudden, again, it's just not true. It's not a thing.
This happened to me too. I mean, when I was
her too.
When I worked at a store called Topkapi, and it was a dead store, but they were affiliated with Claire's Boutique. And I worked both. I was a manager at both places,
right.
So they had me going back and forth to each store. And then one guy, white man, walked in and he called me an N-word. Now, I've never ever in my life been called. I think I was like 22.
Right, I was
or
21,
something at the time. But I mean, one time in my whole life, and then all white people are racist. You know what I mean? That just doesn't.
It doesn't make any sense.
And if anything, he probably said that because there's nobody in the store.
Yeah.
So that made him coward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also, I felt bad for him.
Because
if you're still living in that situation, then that's fine. But it doesn't. I don't get. I guess I don't get caught up.
I don't get angry like that.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like I know that what happens when people get upset is that they get you put yourself in a position to
escalate,
get. Well, I mean, you put yourself in a position to be deceived.
Yeah.
Because if they can get you in an emotional state and keep you there, then anything they tell you with very little information can set you off.
Right. That's why I didn't get upset. I was like, wow, okay, well.
I mean, that isn't happening every day anymore. You cannot. No one, if you're really honest. No one's walking. Now I can tell you, black people say white stuff, racist stuff, just openly, as jokes on TV.
It's okay.
They just openly say it, and white people just have to take it. So you are more likely as a white person, to hear some racist stuff than you are from a black person these days.
Whenever I talk to a black person that maybe I know, or just just talking, having a conversation, and we have these conversations about race. Race in America. And whenever I use that story of mine, because that was the only racist, I would say blatantly racist, I guess you could say. That was the only blatantly racist thing that's ever happened to me. So when I use that situation with somebody, I always ask the black person, well, have you ever experienced even that? And I would say pretty much, well, every black person I ever talked to was like, no one's ever called me the N-word, but I know they're being racist because,
But how do you know
I'm like, no, but what I'm saying is that that was an actual situation. So you haven't actually experienced it. I barely experienced it, but I did. So I'm like, how is it that now everyone's taking a knee? You know what I mean? We got Black Lives Matter. People got the fist in the air all of a sudden. Like, what are we in Jim Crow?
I mean, racism today just means you disagreed with me and you're white.
That's it. That's all it means.
That's what it is. If a white person disagrees with a black person, that's racist.
And let me tell you, the problem with this is that when you scream racism and racist all the time, and it doesn't really hold, the situation doesn't hold water. When an actual racist situation happens, people are going to be like, yeah, they're just saying racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're watering down the word to where the meaning is just like, it's meaningless now. So when we're actually in a situation where it's like a hate crime, it's going to be kind of blown off as just like, whatever, because you're using it too much. You're just, everything's racist. Everything's racist. Doesn't matter what it is. As long as there's a black person involved and a white person involved, racist.
Most of the racist things we hear are from black people. Right. I mean, when I get into in our comments, black people say the most despicable thing. Some guy said these women only date white men. I was like, I've never dated a black or white man in my life.
Yeah, this guy said that. We get that all the time.
Why? Just because I don't think like you? No, I date black men. I've only dated black men my whole life. I'm not saying I would never, but I'm just saying that the men that have been in my life have all been black.
It was so funny. I said this to the guy too. I was like, we've both never been in relationships with white men.
Sorry,
never have. But so why did you say that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is it? So if I did, and what does that mean?
So what Bill Maher is saying is that, are there racists? There will always be. This is why this whole notion that until white people have a different attitude, black people can't move forward. What do you mean? You know what I mean? First of all, I think white people do have a different attitude. Yeah. This isn't 1930. Yes. You know what I mean? And secondly, you know what I mean? Again, are you asking white people to give you your freedom? Yeah. When you already have it?
Yes, they are, actually.
You're feeling... It's these types of people like John Cougar, Mellencamp, that until those people are not here... You know what I mean? Until those people have moved on, it's just like they're the ones who keep this all going. They keep this on going. This must be, going on. Joy Reid, they just keep it going. These people, Bill Maher, sometimes they just never, ever let it go. And I honestly do believe it's just political. Yeah. They just want black people to stay in the realm of Democratic Party because we vote high. Believe me, if black people leave the Democratic Party's finished. Because even like Bill Maher, for instance, Bill Maher's show on HBO is popular, but I've noticed that a lot of these celebrities realize that mainstream media, the views are going down and it's going into the internet. So now they all have shows now.
Yeah, they all have podcasts.
All have podcasts because they saw how famous Joe Rogan got. You know what I mean? And so now they want to keep propaganda going by getting on the internet because that's where the people are. You know what I mean? And so they get into your head and they want you to, don't think because you're successful that that you don't, that you're free. No, I'm free because God made me free.
Right.
If you still think white people are ahead of you, then that's your own business. You think that white people are supreme. I don't. Things, and so what do? They just do things like John Cougar Mellencamp. He's over here spitting facts, and he's over here spitting statistics that he doesn't even know. He's just 2% of black people are in middle class. That's not true.
When him talking about this, he's either doing one of two things or both. He's either trying to keep black people mentally in shackles by saying these things, right? Or he's trying to appease black people to say, I'm on your side. I'm an ally.
I'm a good white.
He's either doing one or the other or both. He might be doing both at the same time too. He needs to take a page out of Scott Adams' book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Scott Adams was right. Look, if he's trying to appease black people by saying stuff like this, like, you're right, black people, the white man still got you down. If that's the narrative he's still trying to push, then I feel like people like that, when white people do that, they're just making it worse. Stop trying to do this ally thing. It doesn't work. They're still not going. These black people that you're trying to save or trying to be on the side of, they're still not going to like you. So I hope you don't think by you saying this, somehow these black people that you're referring to are all of a sudden going to love you. Because John Cougar Mellencamp is speaking up for the black people. Ooh, no, they're still going to be rude to you and they're still going to call you a white supremacist. So please don't get it twisted.
And everybody's just trying to make sure they can keep their job by, walking a tightrope, trying to make sure everybody's happy. Well, I don't. If you don't like me if you don't like me and you're black, I'm okay with that. Yeah. If you don't like me and you're white, I don't care about that. Yeah. If you don't like me and you're gay, I don't care about that. If you don't like me because I'm a woman and I don't believe in feminism, I don't care about that.
Well, everything that you do though now, it's you're gonna get the phobic part.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the isms, okay, the racism, the homophobia, the sexist, misogynist. You're gonna get all these. It's going to keep happening. So it doesn't matter. You're just going to have to believe what you believe, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stop apologizing. Stop pandering. Stop all of it. It's not working. It's making things worse, is what it is.
Even some black conservatives pander to black people.
Yeah, they do.
And we were talking about, when Ron DeSantis was doing something with
that school.
Then they were all like, well, we need to say that. Because they said that black slaves had skills that they took.
They acquire skills that
help them after emancipation. Right. Well, that's just true.
Well, first of all,
you know what I mean?
I think a required reading should be Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington. That should be required reading for all schools, I believe, because he was a slave.
You're gonna hear some inconvenient troops.
He was a slave, and he said, "Why would you not use the skills that you acquired to then use them to after slavery,
right?
To use them to better your life." Like, it's nothing wrong with saying that, but there is something wrong with saying that when you're a white politician, and all of a sudden it's bad. But Booker T. Washington was a slave, and he said that.
No, and those black conservatives were all
I know.
like, he is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, he's not wrong. That is a fact. That is a fact. I know that you don't like facts and you're trying to because a lot of black conservatives want to bring black people to the conservative side, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
If you come over here because you really thought it out, that video that we just watched, Black and White, with Adam Calhoun and Tom McDonald and Dax's part is what we talk about, thinking for yourself.
That's what he's
getting
saying.
the information, not letting these two parties play each other. I don't care if any black people come to the conservative side. I really don't. This is how I feel, but I really don't care if you want to stay over there, then stay over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But my point in saying that is that don't let these people play you.
Yeah.
Because John Cougar Mellencamp is full of BS.
Yeah, he's not. This is not a thing, y'all.
He's being a useful idiot. Is what he's doing, and he has no idea. He probably don't even know that many black people.
No.
You know what I mean?
But you can tell he doesn't just by his fake statistic that he put up there. That if you don't get down to the facts, you're just
doing this. You're just making it up. You know what I mean? And so my point when we do our show is not to bring you to the conservative side or the liberal side or whatever it's not black, like you said, a Dex. It's not black or white. It's wrong and right. It's facts or not.
Yes,
you know
that's
what I mean?
it.
And then however your feelings are, that's up to you. I'm not here. I'm not the feelings police.
Right.
You can hate me, call me a coon, call me a bee, ITCH.
Yeah.
You can call me a bed wench, all these words, but if you're not looking it up, if you're not looking it up, you're not giving me anything back.
Yeah.
Then all you are is running out of information.
Right.
Our whole family is a Democrat.
Yeah.
An entire family. My mother.
Yeah, except for
my grandmother was, but my uncles, aunts, all of them, they're all Democrats. You know what I mean? Except for our one cousin, Jordan. The cowboy.
Yeah, the cowboy. Cowboy Jordan.
And he's like, it's the only time we get to actually get a vibe is when we see him on the holiday.
Like, oh my God, you got another conservative.
It's like, oh my God, it's like rare. You know what I mean?
He was a Marine,
but again, it's just like for us, it's combos with Karen Danielle. So we just want conversation.
Yeah.
I don't care about what you vote for.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
that's up to you. That's you.
At the end of the day, it's not. These politicians aren't going to save your life.
No, they're not. They're just politicians.
They're just politicians. They're flawed for real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are just as much a problem as anything else. Because even conservatives, they do it too. They pander also. You know what I mean? But my point is to talk about information because the truth is the reason why we're all being controlled by these people is because they keep us on this emotional level.
Yeah.
Where we get so upset about things we're not even going through anymore. None of us are slaves.
Yeah.
And none of us are slave holders. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, black liberals hate black conservatives.
They can't stand
So what
them.
I'm saying is that it's really not about white or black. It really is about your mind, the way you see the world.
Yeah.
I could have much more in common with an Asian person or a Hispanic person or a white person than I could sometimes even with black people. Not because I'm less black, I'm always going to be black, but because our worldview is more in sync.
Right. Yeah.
That's what black people need to come together. Not really. Not because if I don't agree with you with nonsense, I'm not coming together for that.
What does that mean, even come together? Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You don't have your own mind? Why do we always have to have a movement where we're all glomming onto each other? Why do we always have to have a leader? Why do people always have a leader? You ever hear about an Asian leader? An American Asian leader or American? No, you don't hear that.
But you also don't hear white people saying white people need to come together because white people are okay with not agreeing.
Yeah, and so are all the other, but that all the other races are too. It's just that we're not.
So I can't stand John. I mean, look. I can't stand what he's saying because I think what he's doing is pandering to black people, and I also think he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, and he's on a big platform because Bill Maher. I don't think he has 1 million subscribers. I can't believe that, but he doesn't have like 1 million subscribers. But his platform is big, and a lot of people are going to hear that, and and a lot of black people, I told you, look, even white people are saying, like, no, he's an uninformed white person. Right. And the statistics alone, he said, are completely wrong. Right. I mean, Bill Maher said that. No one panders more to black people than Bill Maher. Yeah. On the regular. Right. Sometimes he says some true things, but most of the time he's trying to keep his audience too.
But let us know what you think. Leave some comments below. Love to hear your thoughts on all of this. So just let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We would love that. And that's it. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.